I brought the Hardcore Championship back for 1 year in WWE 2K23 to see what kind of crazy crap would happen. Before we get into it, I would like you to like, comment, and subscribe this video and channel. It helps us out a lot. So, alright, let's get into the Hardcore Shenanigans. So we started our first pay-per-view, WrestleMania Backlash, where we crown our first Hardcore Champion. We do it in a 30-person Battle Royal match. So the winner becomes the first Hardcore Champion. The final participants in the match are Cactus Jack, Braun Strowman, and Andre the Giant. Cactus Jack just gets thrown out like complete garbage by Strowman, and Andre is able to finish off Braun Strowman and throw his ass over the top rope. Andre the Giant becomes the first Hardcore Champion of this universe. How long will he keep it? Well, I guess we'll find out. So we just skip straight to the next pay-per-view, Hell in a Cell. It's a Hell in a Cell triple threat. Andre the Giant, the current champion, defends against Mankind and Shane McMahon. Two of the better Hardcore champions in the history of this title. However, you do know how this is going to go. While the match starts out inside of the cell, it goes to the top of the cell, which means that someone's going to get severely injured. Andre the Giant grabs Mankind and slams him through the cell wall, breaking the cell. When Andre goes for a cover on the Mankind, Shane breaks it up as he just plops down in the cell. Mankind hits a low blow on the Andre the Giant and is then able to get the Mandible Claw onto Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon passes out to the Mandible Claw where Andre can respond, and Mankind wins the Hardcore Championship from Andre. So now we move on to Money in the Bank, where Andre the Giant is looking to get back his championship that he lost at Hell in a Cell to Mankind. Andre coming out with Bobby Heenan, and Mankind coming out with default Creator Wrestler number 2. Andre the Giant destroys Mankind in this match in 2 minutes. He wins the championship back. Afterwards, though, Bobby Heenan comes in, rolls Andre from behind with a backslide, wins and becomes the new Hardcore Champion, and runs away as quick as he can before he gets destroyed. The main event is a Money in the Bank ladder match for the Money in the Bank contract. We have Jake Roberts, Steve Blackman, CM Punk, Uncle Howdy, Kane, Reggie, the Hurricane, and Hardcore Holly. After a crazy ladder match, Steve Blackman climbs up the ladder to get the briefcase, and Steve Blackman becomes Mr. Money in the Bank. After the show goes off the air, we see Bobby Heenan running into the airport trying to flee, but LA Knight ambushes him, hits him with a BFT, and LA Knight is the new Hardcore Champion, and then flies out of this crap town that is San Diego. At SummerSlam, the match is set. LA Knight versus Andre the Giant for the Hardcore Championship. After a hard-fought match between LA Knight, the megastar tried his best, but in the end would fall to the Giant. The Giant would topple the megastar, and Andre once again is the champion. After the match, LA Knight completely snaps and loses his mind by destroying Andre the Giant with a steel chair and hits multiple BFTs onto Andre. LA Knight, of course, leaves through the crowd, and then the Lethal Weapon comes out. Steve Blackman, with the Money in the Bank briefcase, comes out, cashes it in against a beaten down Andre. One knee to the head by Steve Blackman, and it's over. The Lethal Weapon becomes the Hardcore Champion thanks to LA Knight beating the crap out of Andre the Giant. Post SummerSlam, Terry Funk comes out on SmackDown and announces that a new championship will be established. The Hardcore Tag Team Championships will be decided at Clash at the Castle in a 4-way ladder match. LA Knight's music hits the PA. LA Knight comes out to confront Terry Funk and explain why he did what he did. LA Knight, according to him, believes that the hardcore wrestling division and the hardcore wrestlers in general are beneath the megastar. He shouldn't have to compete in these barbaric matches to prove why he is the best. So he made an example out of Andre the Giant, who has been shelved due to the beating that he took at SummerSlam. And LA Knight criticizes Terry Funk for being the embodiment of hardcore wrestling. So Terry Funk does what he does best. He basically calls him a big, fat, whiny loser. You're a loser! A loser! Terry Funk says that he wants a piece of LA Knight at Clash at the Castle. LA Knight accepts it. He says he's going to make an example out of Terry Funk by pulverizing him and putting him on the shelf for good. And now we arrive at one of our biggest pay-per-views, Clash at the Castle. 3 matches. Our first is a grudge match. The hardcore icon Terry Funk takes on the megastar LA Knight. Despite Terry Funk throwing everything he has, he hits a burning hammer and then a BFT onto the legend to pin him. LA Knight gets the dub against a legend like Terry Funk. Our next match at Clash at the Castle is to crown the new inaugural hardcore tag team champions. We have 4 random tag teams, so let's see who they are. Our first is Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton. Our second team is Akira Tozawa and Triple H. Our third team is The Undertaker and Zeus. And finally, our final team is Bray Wyatt and the Ultimate Warrior. And after a chaotic ladder match between these 4 makeshift teams, Ultimate Warrior climbs the ladder to get the briefcase for some reason. And Bray Wyatt and the Ultimate Warrior are the first ever hardcore tag team champions. In our main event, we have the hardcore title. The Lethal Weapon, Steve Blackman, gets his first challenge for the hardcore title as he takes on another legend in hardcore wrestling, Rob Van Dam. So then Rob Van Dam, after like 20 minutes, he finally hits the 5-star. But somehow Blackman finds a way to kick out of the 5-star frog splash, and the match ends when Steve Blackman grabs RVD and just tosses him out with a powerbomb onto the concrete floor. This was enough against RVD to maybe paralyze him and get the W. Steve Blackman retains the hardcore title. Post-show, we go backstage with RVD, and LA Knight comes out of nowhere and hits him with a BFT backstage. He hits him with a second one for good measure, and LA Knight taking out hardcore legends one by one. Fast forward to Extreme Rules, and our first match is LA Knight opening the show against Tommy Dreamer. Tommy Dreamer is pissed off at what LA Knight did to his mentor and friend Terry Funk. So Tommy Dreamer tries his best to avenge Terry Funk, but just like Terry Funk, BFT, and it's over. LA Knight adds another person to the hit list. Yeah. Our second match is the hardcore tag titles. The team of Bray Wyatt and the Ultimate Warrior take on the team of Hardcore and Crash, the Hollies. As Crash Holly is dealing with Bray Wyatt on the outside of the ring, Hardcore Holly grabs the Ultimate Warrior, hits him with a Falcon's Arrow, and as Hardcore Holly's going for the pin, Bray Wyatt tries to break it up, but Crash Holly cracks him in the head with a steel chair, and Hardcore Holly gets the pin on the Ultimate Warrior. The Hollies become the Hardcore Tag Team Champions, upsetting the champions of Wyatt and Warrior. In our main event, the Lethal Weapon is back once again defending his title against the Big Boss Man. Big Boss Man gets his ass whipped by Steve Blackman, and Steve Blackman retains his title. So on Monday Night Raw, LA Knight comes out to brag about what he did to Tommy Dreamer, Terry Funk, and RVD, but then suddenly a ghost from LA Knight's past comes back. Andre the Giant makes his return. LA Knight goes for a quick shot, but Andre immediately drops him and hits him with an elbow drop, and Andre says, "War Games." Which means that the Survivor Series, it's Team LA Knight versus Team Andre the Giant in a War Games match. My God in hell. So now it's the Survivor Series. We have one match. It's the War Games match between Team LA Knight, LA Knight himself, Logan Paul, Bad Bunny, and The Rock. Yep, The Rock is here. Team Andre consists of Andre the Giant, Tommy Dreamer, RVD, and Terry Funk. All the guys that LA Knight has taken out for the past couple of months. And after a brutal and barbaric War Games match, the megastars get the dub as Hollywood Rock hits a rock bottom on the Tommy Dreamer in one ring, while the rest of them are fighting on the other side. The Rock gets the pin, the megastars defeat the Giants and Hardcore Legends. LA Knight gets his revenge, or does he? So on SmackDown, LA Knight and Andre the Giant confront each other, and it is announced that at Vengeance, the next pay-per-view, these two will finally settle their score once and for all, as LA Knight and Andre the Giant will collide in a Hell in a Cell match in the main event of Vengeance to finally conclude this rivalry that has been going on for 5 months. Which one of these two will finally finish the story? Now it's time for Vengeance. We got a 3-match card tonight. First match is actually the Hardcore Championship itself, as Hollywood Rock, who pinned Tommy Dreamer in the match, got a #1 contendership as he takes on the Lethal Weapon, Steve Blackman, in a hardcore match. These two threw everything had at each other. Steve Blackman then takes down The Rock, goes to the top, hits a knee off the top into Rock's chest to pin him for the win. Steve Blackman is still the hardcore champion, proving himself as a dominant champion. The second match is the Hollies. Hardcore and Crash Holly defend the hardcore tag titles against Triple H and Akira Tozawa, the Game Changers. Hardcore Holly grabs Akira, hits him with an Alabama Slammer. Triple H taken out by Crash, and Hardcore gets the pin. The Hollies retain. However, after the match, the lights go out. In the ring, we have Uncle Howdy. Uncle Howdy hits his sister Abigail, grabs Crash Holly, takes him up the ramp, and throws him off the stage. Hardcore Holly runs in the ring, and Bray Wyatt catches him with his sister Abigail. And then the Warrior comes out and hits a Warrior splash onto Hardcore Holly. The main event, LA Knight versus Andre the Giant in the Hell in a Cell. Despite LA Knight's best efforts, Andre hits a big splash onto LA Knight to take him out for the dub. Andre the Giant ends the feud, and Andre the Giant will be heading to the Royal Rumble to take on the hardcore champ, the Lethal Weapon, Steve Blackman. So now it's time for the Royal Rumble. The Hardcore Championship opens the night as Steve Blackman defends against Andre the Giant in the Ultimate Showdown. Steve Blackman somehow grabs Andre's big ass, puts him over his shoulders, flips him with a GTH. Steve Blackman retains his title. Give the man his flowers. Holy shit. Our second match is for our hardcore tag titles. The team of Bray Wyatt and the Ultimate Warrior are looking to get back at Hardcore and Crash Holly. At the end of the match, Hardcore Holly hits a low blow on the Ultimate Warrior, which takes him out. Hardcore goes for the cover on Warrior, but Wyatt breaks it up. Warrior rolls out of the ring. Hardcore goes out of the ring looking for a baseball bat, but then Bray Wyatt is able to clap on the mandible claw onto Crash Holly. And before Hardcore Holly can break it up, the referee calls the bell, and Bray Wyatt and the Ultimate Warrior reclaim the tag titles. Frustrated and infuriated at the outcome, Hardcore Holly then turns on Crash Holly by hitting an Alabama Slam, a few chair shots, and then a Falcon's Arrow through the announce table. Hardcore Holly dismisses his brother as garbage. And now it's time for the 30-man Royal Rumble match. The winner goes to fight Steve Blackman for the Hardcore Championship in the main event of WrestleMania. The final three in this match are Stone Cold Steve Austin, Umaga, and LA Knight, who's coming in at number 30, because of course he is. However, this doesn't really help LA Knight as he gets booted out of the ring, literally, by Umaga. So the final two, Steve Austin and Umaga. After a quick scuffle between Austin and Umaga, Umaga grabs Austin, puts him against the ropes, clotheslines him out of the ring, and that is it. Umaga wins the Royal Rumble, and at WrestleMania, Steve Blackman, the Lethal Weapon, goes against the Samoan Bulldozer at WrestleMania for the Hardcore Championship. But before we get to WrestleMania, we have one more pay-per-view event to get to, is Elimination Chamber. This is important because while Steve Blackman has already locked himself in a match with Umaga, and Hardcore and Crash Holly are going to be colliding in a brother versus brother match, we still have to decide who will fight for the tag titles. So an Elimination Chamber with 6 participants. The Big Boss Man, Rhino, famous YouTuber Maven, the Hurricane, Chyna, and Stevie Richards. Famous YouTuber Stevie Richards in the freaking pink tights. Look at those pink tights. My God. Unfortunately, it doesn't really get Stevie Richards very far as he's like the first person eliminated. So, Big Boss Man gets eliminated by Rhino with the gore. The Hurricane takes out Chyna with the Eye of the Hurricane neck breaker thing, I think. And Chyna is gone. Famous YouTuber Maven then gets eliminated by Rhino after he hits a gore onto the poor guy. Finally, the Hurricane eliminates Rhino with the Hero's Choke Slam. And the Hurricane is finally getting his day in the sun. Hurricane is going to WrestleMania to take on Wyatt and Warrior. The question is, who is his tag team partner going to be? And now we arrive at WrestleMania, the big event, the showcase of the Immortals, yada yada yada. First match is brother versus brother. Hardcore Holly versus Crash Holly. In a last man standing match. Despite Hardcore Holly's best attempts to beat the shit out of Crash Holly overcomes it and hits Hardcore with the Styles Clash. Yeah, or I guess the Crash Clash. Say that 5 times fast. And Hardcore Holly stays down for the 10, even though that he completely no-sells it and gets up like nothing happened. Crash Holly wins the fight, and Crash gets revenge against his older brother for beating the shit out of him at the Rumble. Our second match is for the Hardcore Tag Titles. The team of Bray Wyatt and the Ultimate Warrior, the champions, are defending against the Hurricane and his mystery tag team partner of the superhero in training, Rosie, or as his acronym would say, shit. But you know what isn't shit? This match. Specifically, the Hurricane and Rosie actually winning. Yeah, Rosie hits a Rikishi driver onto Bray Wyatt, and the Hurricane then hits a disgusting vertebreaker to the Ultimate Warrior. Rosie pins Wyatt for the 3, and the superheroes in training, the shitbirds themselves, shock the world by becoming the new tag team champions. And now the main event of WrestleMania. Steve Blackman, the Lethal Weapon, goes against the Samoan Bulldozer Umaga for that Hardcore title. Who will be the final Hardcore champion? And in a disappointing 5-minute WrestleMania main event, Umaga goes for the Samoan Spike, but Steve Blackman just karate chops it out of his hands, takes his ass up for the GTH Go to Hell, and Steve motherfucking Blackman, who cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase to win that title, has proven to be the final Hardcore champion and the best Hardcore champion. And there you go, everyone. That is when the Hardcore title was brought back. You know, megastars, giants, lethal weapons, and a whole load of shit. Kicking. Thanks for watching. Goodbye, everyone. Have a nice day.